Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Idea Jam preview. Thanks for joining us. Our Idea Jam that's coming up in February is focused on rapid application of design thinking. Design thinking is kind of what it sounds like. It is applying the same thinking that designers use when they create products and services. And what they do is they start with the needs of real users and they develop a product or service using a nonlinear iterative process that's deeply grounded in user needs. It challenges assumptions, it redefines problems, and it creates innovative solutions that you prototype and test along the way. So if it sounds like something you're interested in, the Idea Jam's for you. This is what the design thinking process looks like. You begin first by empathizing with your users. This could mean that you interview them, you talk to them, you understand their experience. It could also mean that you live their experience. Maybe you go and walk the same day that they walk. You might do an immersive experience where you spend some time in a situation that your user spends time in. You'll also do some field research, understanding what's going on in the field, because user insights aren't everything. You want to also understand what's going on with the trends in the marketplace and what you're reading from peers. Then you'll define your challenge. You'll get really clear on the problem that you're solving. A mistake that a lot of people make when they're trying to come up with innovative solutions is that they start first with the solution. And then maybe they might define what the challenge is after they figured out what the solution is, trying to fit the solution to a problem and then later figure out the users. The design thinking process has you start first with this rapid understanding of your users. You might have a sense of what the problem is, but you wait to define it until later. Then you'll move into ideation. You'll come up with as many ideas as you can. You'll explore many different pathways and eventually synthesize to come up with a few great ideas that meet user needs, that are feasible for you to create, and that are sustainable for the long term. And then you test and prototype. You'll come up with some prototypes that are rough sketches of the concept that you have. You'll get feedback from real users. You'll be able to test them in small, scrappy tests that scale up as you go. And then finally, you'll implement. So we are going to move through a quick version of this process in 3 hours during our Idea Jam. It's probably the fastest you could do the design thinking process. One activity that's a great one to start with if you're excited about the Idea Jam and want to get a sense of what we'll be doing is to develop your how might we questions. So coming into the Idea Jam, we're going to ask you to have a sense of who users are and what the challenges are that they experience. So get to know your users, get to know them by interviewing them, by experiencing the things that they experience. If you're hearing from users that they really hate standing on long lines when they're waiting for your service, go stand on some long lines, go to the Chick-fil-A drive-thru during lunchtime, get to know their experience, and then begin to practice this skill of defining the challenge with how might we's. So this is something that we'll do as part of our ideation stage in the Idea Jam. And an example of how you do this is here. So we want how might we challenges to be user-centered, as I mentioned. So this is an example of a how might we challenge that's not very user-centered. How might we develop an app to increase sales by 10%? There's no real user here, and the benefit is to you as a business, not to your user. This is an example of a how might we that's more focused on users and their needs. How might we help employees improve their work from home experience? So this is a better how might we challenge because it's focused specifically on the user and an improvement that they need in their lives. They need their work from home experience improved. It's also not super specific on a particular solution. So it's not saying how might we improve employees' experience working from home with a standing desk. You're not deciding what the solution is already, but you're opening up to be able to explore a wide variety of possibilities around a challenge that your users have identified. So we encourage you to spend some time doing this before the Idea Jam. Get to know your users, figure out who they are, figure out what the challenge is that you might want to pursue, and then begin to define it. It might mean that as you're defining it, you need to go back to your users and see what they think. Ask them if this question does capture the challenge that they've shared with you. We have this template here that you can use. We'll also use this during the Idea Jam. So if you get to do this ahead of time, you will be ahead of the class. We ask that you create a how might we that starts with the phrase how might we, which opens up a lot of possibilities and is open-ended. Then you use a verb, how might we help, how might we improve, how might we develop, something specific to your user, and then a specific benefit. That's it for this preview. We hope to see you at the Idea Jam. Please register for it if you have not already. It is on February 24th. It'll be 3 hours. If you are in Chattanooga, you're welcome to join us at our Bridge studio. We'll have some space set up for you there to work with your team. We'll see you then.